Lovely, yeah? What topics would you like me to cover today?
Not reacting.
What is it?
Guilt.
Okay. That it? Okay. Is that it?
Nausea.
Okay, that's it. Hold on one sec. What was the one over there? Grief. It's an incredible thing, life on earth. I've said this many times that we actually think that when we're talking about life on earth, that we're talking about life on earth. There's so much more hidden under it all, behind the shadows, behind the veils. There's so much more. Simple things that are huge to us, global cataclysms, death of loved ones, and these are big, big things. There's so much more hidden behind it. And when we pass away or have near-death experience, we're shown and we're like, how did I forget that? How did I miss that? It could be anything from guilt to grief, loss, pain, resentment, of course, unhealed wounds. Just the fact that we're on earth and that people can cause wounding. It's the strangest thing. And that's why we've created things like karma, so that we keep ourselves in check, so we don't go too crazy, on this planet. And people still do. When I say go crazy, I'm talking about when they become uncontrollably hurtful and selfish. It's insane that anybody would act that way, especially if you're in touch with what's really happening. Listen to the affirmations and words that were mentioned as the harp was playing. We're unconditional love. Then what happened? What went wrong here? Something's not quite right. Or, summarized, we're not in Kansas anymore. Right, Toto? So, to say words like, how do we deal with reacting? What about not reacting? All these are easy to say, not as easy to pull off. Because you can say, you know what, it's an illusion. Well, let somebody park their tire on your foot. And are you really going to go, it's so funny, it's not real at all. This is amazing. I don't even feel this. No, you're going to be yelling all kinds of obscenities and screaming in pain, but that's what it's like in this world. And so when people are screaming in pain, try to lend them a hand to hold. Put a hand on their back, their shoulder, or words, or whatever is the right thing in the moment. Just understand, as far as God's concerned, think of it as dimensions. There is a dimension where none of this is taking place. We call it heaven. So instead of saying, guys, get over it, it's an illusion, which is a rude thing to say to people that are hurting. Even though it's true, it's not appropriate to say to 3D people that are in pain. That's ridiculous. But in this world, people don't know how to be awake and compassionate and in the world at the same time. They don't know how to, oh my God, it's all an illusion, and still hold somebody when they cry, and change diapers, and show up responsibly at work and whatever else. They become bliss bunnies, and it's all just fake. I know we think it's real, but it's just so much fake, fake energy to it. I'm spiritual, I'm enlightened, I don't worry about anything. There's not just you in the room and in the world. There's you and there's us. And some of us are still hurting. So as enlightened as you think you are, we still need a hug. We still need compassion. We still need a handheld. We still need somebody to help us with our rent or whatever else is going on. I'm not emphasizing enabling people that always want to be helped with everything because they don't want to recognize they need some healing. I don't want healing, I just want your money. I don't want healing, I just want you to give me what I want at any given time. No, that's enabling, and that's going too far, and it's healthy for you to go, oh, I'm sorry if you thought I came to be a rescuer. No. I'm here to be helpful, but only truly helpful. Truly would mean in a form that's real, a form that's actually healing for long term, not just a momentary assistance to an ego-based need, or what I would call an ego-based need. So if a person's struggling with guilt, one of the questions asked, here's simple things to remember. When somebody's regret, guilt, shame, but if it's things like guilt and regret, ask them important questions that help them break the spell. That isn't God going, guilt, guilt. That's not God. That's your own conscience that's going too far. That's your self-abuse. It could be entities for that matter. But it isn't God. It's the ego. So when you feel guilt, regret from your past in any way, shape, or form, all you have to do is ask yourself an intelligent question. Whatever you did that you feel bad about, is that what your intention was? I feel guilty for getting a divorce and it left my kids, not having both parents in the house. Did you wake up one day and say, how can I damage my children today? I know, divorcing their father or mother. Did you do that? They'll usually say what? No. Then stop feeling guilty. Because if there was no actual reason, now if you did do that, if you woke up and went, how can I damage my kids today? Oh, I think I'll do this. Then you should be feeling a little guilty and you should apologize and you should make amends. When you mess up, do it. And some people will say to me, no, because that acknowledges that I feel bad and I don't want to empower that. It's already there. It's already, can't you see it? Can't you feel it? It's there. So let yourself off the hook. Unconditional love. Let yourself off the hook. You didn't intend to cause harm. Some people, I divorced and it really broke my husband and wife's heart, but did you intend? No, it's just that, I got tired of this and this and this all screwed up lifestyle and I broke it. I said no more. They were addictions or whatever. You didn't intend to hurt them, but you needed to do that. Why? For your sanity. When you get to the other side and they say, how did it go? Did you have to make any life-changing decisions? And you said, yes, for my sanity. They're going to applaud you for going with sanity. It doesn't do you well to get to the other side and say, I enabled insanity left, right, up and down and forward and backward and so on. They're not going to go, oh, well, absolutely, that was a great move. Any decision we make for our betterment, for healthiness, not only for ours, and also the greater good, is a right thing to do. So carrying things like this world is a lot. It's a lot to deal with, which I say almost maybe every week in some way or another. One of you brought up the word nausea, which you would think can't tie into anything else. Oh, it can. It can. Do you believe that children are sensitive, yes or no? Do you believe they have a certain something about them, right? Like awareness, right? Why are they always spitting up then? Because they're here. Do you understand? Nausea is there's something happening and I don't like it. I'm going to spit it out. And every 3 seconds, they're like, it's like some weird creature that just walks around. And, and they're like, it feels so much better after well, of course, because you're spitting, and I mean it, you're spitting out this world. You come from a place and you're like, floating in embryonic fluid, floating in the mother's womb, and the mother's always like, and it's like, oh, thanks for the massage. And then you're born. And they're like needles in your foot to take blood and the swat on the butt. And of course it's like, they got to keep spitting. I don't like, but they can't say the words, so they just, let me show you how I feel being here. I mean, it's funny, but it's true. There's a reason for everything. People don't look at the deeper meanings. Why would children be spitting up all the time? We spit up, we get nauseous because this world is nauseating. Wow, let's just end there. And so it is. You'll see that in some quotes, the sutras of Michael. This world is nauseating. Not my finest moment, right? But it is. And look at it at a deeper level. Of course it's nauseating. Your body is saying, this is not my home, the words of Yogananda. This is not my home. There's something wrong here. Doesn't anybody see it? Can't you tell by the amount of hatred And they spit up and they spit up and people that have the compulsion to eat and purge and eat and purge. It's about being on earth, a place you don't really want to be, a place you are, but you don't feel resonance with. Something's wrong with this picture. The emperor is naked and nobody seems to see it. And everybody just drinks the punch and goes along with it as best they can. But deep down, are they really doing well with coping with earth that is a place that is nauseating? A place that is hate-based, fear-based. Is it really okay? Well, yeah, people generally get by. No, they don't. They drink to get by. They drug to get by. Every kind of addiction, codependence. What's behind codependence? I'm insane and I need some sanity. I need people to just be here. You know, I need some kind of pseudo support, groundedness. What's behind the word groundedness, support? It's called safety. I don't feel safe here, so I need, and then you grab people and you're called codependent. But underneath that, don't just tell people stop being codependent. Look underneath it, man. They're scared. I've shared this, before, but when I was a kid, I had the unique privilege to a couple times hang out with Elvis Presley. And I remember, I was young, and I remember them telling me, for reasons that I was able to get there, I remember them telling me, because I was young, how many drugs he was taking. And it was drugs to get on stage, drugs to get off stage, drugs to go to the bathroom, drugs to go, I'm not kidding, to go to sleep. And I'm watching this thinking, I was told drugs are bad, and yet they're, and I'm thinking, this is very strange. But one of the strange ones was at the end of the evening, it's like the king would appreciate if everybody would stay in the room till he falls asleep so that he knows someone's there. Now, as a kid, I went, do you get that? Like what that means? Right? That's not just a sentence. It's like I'm already as a kid going, oh, there's something really hurt inside this person. I need you to be there. I need to know I'm not alone. That's deep stuff, but that's everybody. Everybody's got these things going on. I need to know that I'm loved. I need to know that I'm safe. And ultimately, it's because at some point in the beginning of time, we actually think that we left God. If you have God, you can be crucified and still smile. Jesus on his way to crucifixion. Now, mind you, Jesus is, a little intuitive. He kind of knows what crucifixion's going to feel like. He's not like, this is great. This is nothing but painful. The Romans designed crucifixion not to kill people. They could have just killed you. They designed it to cause the most suffering a person can experience, the longest drawn out death possible. They did this for a reason. He's on his way to the crucifixion. And one of the times he falls to his knees, there's these women on the side of the road, and they are crying for him. I'll tell you more about one of them this weekend. We're doing next weekend, our Daughters of Heaven conference, and I'm going to talk about all the women that people don't know about in the Bible, and supporters, and not just the apostles, but all the women in the Bible that weren't written about. So one of them looks to him, these women are crying, and he looks to them and says, don't believe what you see. I mean, do you know what that takes? Where you're going is not good. Where you are is not good. And yet you still had the time, the courage, the heart to look at people that were in pain and say, it's okay. It's all right. See, we should be able to do it. I'm not saying guilt yourself when you can't. There are days, I remember, tough days being married and having kids and not wanting to let the kids ever see any problems, And one time I just went, guys, got them in the car to take them to school. Can you please stop? Because, I just felt so much pain. I just needed them to not add any more today. Couldn't afford it. Said it tactfully. I didn't scream. I just asked them, please, not today. You see? And that's how we all feel inside. Like we're at edge, but we don't know it because we numb it, we drink it, we do whatever, and smoke it. But being on earth is heavy stuff. And finding the healthiest ways to just get by is still not the healthiest thing you can do, because you're still just getting by. But God bless you for finding healthy ways to get by versus unhealthy ways. Good job. That's progress. But there's a point where you can become so plugged in that you can think beyond the problem and still think of other people. And we've all pulled this off at least once in our lives. But sometimes we just didn't take time to notice that you just created a miracle. You're in pain, but you thought of someone else. You understand? That's a miracle. You're supposed to just do nothing but complain and blame everybody. You see? That's the person who picks the kids up at school and they say, Mom, I got a D on my report card and I'm really sad. You think you're sad. You try living in my life. Oh, my life with your father and at work. And what a selfish thing to do. But we've slipped many times and done that. The selfish routine. And we're supposed to be learning, if you really understand that there is a God and that only God is powerful and only God is real and only God is love, and you plug into that, you should be able to pull it off once in a while to get by. Where somebody accidentally charged you 3 cents more than they were supposed to at the grocery store. You know, I need to be heard. Catastrophe on aisle 3. Customer was overpaying by $3 and nobody cares. You know, that's just completely weird and selfish. I mean, come on. What more can you do? A funny and weird story, and I'm not trying to sound martyrous, you know, but there was a sale I helped at one of these estate sales that Judy puts together, one of our board members. And I went to this one, and, you know, and I just help. I just volunteer, and I just help. Well, there's this big cactus. So long story short, this lady, oh, could you put that in my car? Oh, okay. And I go and I pick it up and the cactus goes, and I've got all these things stuck in my head. I push it back and all these things are still stuck. It's a funny thing. They didn't move with the cactus. They moved in. So I had all these, you know, and I'm like, this is kind of crucifixion looking, isn't it? Anyway, crown of thorns, crown of thorns. Anyway, I've got all these things sticking out of my head. And this guy comes up, Michael, can I ask you a question? I'm like, mm-hmm. I swear. He confessed this later. He said, you know, I told my wife last sale that I was at, you know, Michael wasn't as friendly as usual. I went up to talk to him and he just seemed short. She goes, you dummy, didn't you see all the things stuck in his head? He's going, oh no, you know. So all these things stuck in my head. But still, I wait, you know, and the lady was like, oh my God, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, stop pulling these things out of my head. And it took a couple of weeks. The last one finally kind of came out. But I had these, you know, 2 and 3 inch things, spikes in my forehead. So I go in and I'm standing next to Judy, who runs, you know, she's at the checkout, and I'm just waiting for my turn. She's got people in line, and I'm trying not, even the guy who said, hey, Michael, can I talk to you? You know what I did? I tried to turn slightly away, to not make it a big deal, to not make it, oh, look at me. That's how I do things generally. So I waited my turn, and then, you know, she turned and, you know, and I'm like, I know. Do you mind? You know, boom, boom, boom. She and some other person, they started plucking them out and, you know, got as many as they could. But the idea of think beyond just the little problems, you know, don't sweat the petty stuff, and it's all petty stuff. It's okay. I'm not saying when you're in pain to ignore it. I'm not saying that. To each his own. Reach for help when you need help. Get checkups when you need checkups. Don't deny yourself good things, even massages and, you know, proactive things like that. Absolutely. But also do your best. The massage therapist says, I've hurt my left arm and you know, and it's going to be a little challenging, but you know what? Just try this. Tell you what. Let me sit up, use just your right arm. Let's just do half an hour. You know, like, think beyond, I want my massage, and that person's in pain. Help them out. You see? The person in the grocery line that's embarrassed because they're on food stamps or whatever. I don't know if they have those anymore, but those kinds of things. Like, help people out. Tactfully. Fly in under the radar. That should be your superhero thing. Not the one that, does the landing they do in every movie now, like you have arrived. Walk into somebody's house or a grocery store, poof, one of those cool landing things. Try to be the superhero riding in, under the radar, flying under the radar. Help people without making a scene about it. Help all that you can. You're only here for so many years. And while you're here, why not do everything you can for everybody you can in every situation you can? Well, I've got my own problems, I know, so let somebody help you today. But then, when do you resurrect? After your personal crucifixion, resurrect and bounce back. I know it's easier said than done, because some people are like, I have so much challenge in my life, Michael. I can't just be flying under the radar, help all the time. I know. What you should be doing is recuperating yourself. So I'm all for that. I'm all for you taking time to heal from the experiences you have. But there must and there will be a day when you resurrect. Human beings are constantly crucified, and they're constantly crucifying others. But that's not the God in us that's doing that. If we want the better life, you don't just get by, because getting a little stoned can do that. And that's not reality. That's not your awakening. We seemingly separated from God, and we feel horrible about it. So we exiled ourselves to a place called planet Earth, a place of karma that doesn't exist in higher dimensions. But we've come here, and we seem to be working on things, and even when you paint it nicely, I love, karma and reincarnation, because we come back, we're given another chance. Yeah, but why would you want it to take any longer than now? Why don't we just live the Christ life? Be kind, be loving. Let's just do it now instead of, I'm thinking 3 lifetimes from now, I'm going to be more generous. Well, why? Why not now? So there are beings since the beginning of time, some of us, whoever that is, who have been committed to reminding each other, we're on our return home, guys. Our goal is to return home. Our return is to be one with God again. For now, we don't feel that. We don't see that. We don't experience that every day. So there have always been souls dedicated to our return home. And you can call them light workers, and you can call them mystics, and so on and so on. But there are beings who have always been dedicated. Equally so, there have been beings who were committed to the opposite. No, we're not going to let people have peace. We're not going to let things be prosperous all the time. We're going to steal your prosperity. We're going to break your back with work. We're going to, there are people that do that. And I don't just mean humans. There are fallen angels. There are malevolent ETs. There are all kinds of beings in different dimensions that add to this whole ego-based evil in the world. Don't make this something to be afraid of. Just own that it's there. There's this consciousness of keeping us away from God. The acronym for ego, EGO, edging God out. And there are people absolutely sworn to this. They live, keep people afraid, keep people confused. And a lot of them just do things like, and this is since the beginning of time, but it's not just like through government, religion. It's day-to-day gossip. Anytime someone is trying to overtly or covertly take joy out of the world, hope is the word. Take hope out of the world. And you have no idea, man. That is not an accident. When you add to the hopelessness and despair in the world, you're adding to evil. And you do that when you're hateful and when you gossip and other things. There's overt and more covert forms of this. But this goes way back. Way back. From the time we separated, seemingly. We separated from God. We come into this universe, into this, then the solar system, and then onto this planet. We land in a place called Lemuria. And Lemuria we're not all fallen yet. We're astral beings, ethereal beings. Scientists will go, there's no Lemuria. Where are the skeletal remains? Well, you don't have skeletal remains of ethereal beings. There you go. And they'll go, oh, ethereal. Yeah, because you scientists don't believe in ether. I'm pretty sure you do. You know what ether is. It's a scientific understanding of this thing called ether. And if people were once made up of that, why do you think they only started existing when they took 3D bodies? See? It's okay, and it's okay to see it as science. Even religion would be ethereal. What are you talking about? It's in your Bible. God created them male, female, in our image, and God's not like this. It's light, it's consciousness. So we land in a place called Lemuria, which, by the way, and I've never said this before, Lemuria is the Maria, or the mother. It's the land of the mother. And Marie, mother, Mary. There's a connection to the divine mother, the global mother, and the mother within all of us, the Holy Spirit, the divine mother, the consciousness of the mother. And Lemuria was this place. Let's remember her. Let's remember the Holy Spirit. This continent, let's let it mirror the mother, Lemuria, the Mary. You see, the mother. And we existed there, most of us or many of us, in a very matriarchal, ethereal life. It's just so beautiful. But then there's going to be someone out there, I could be talking about this, and someone's going to be online trolling going, Lemuria, is this guy nuts? Yes, so sign off. Why would you think I'm nuts and stay on? What is that, weird or what? You have strange addictions. But why troll these things? Why hate everything that has hope? You see? I remember doing a lecture one time, and there was somebody that I recognized in the audience, a guy, and people were asking me about healing. And I was talking about healing, and I talked about affection, the power of affection. And I said, could you come over here for a second? Got to use a guy, because that's less gossipy. So I had to get a guy over instead of a girl, and I had him sit on the stage in front of me. And I was just talking, and I was working and doing energy work on him, and he's like, whoa, feeling all these energetic surges and power. People are like, wow. When I was done, I kissed him on the top of his head, and that was the end. It's what I felt to do. And one attendee who was a student, and she attended talks of mine here and there, she came for a session. She said, by the way, I was sitting with some friends, and they were like, did you see that? He kissed that guy. That's what you got out of this talk? That's what you got out of the healing? That I kissed a guy? Like, there's a healthy part of you. If you've ever been a mom or a dad, not that you had to have been, but if you ever were, you're used to being in the trenches, changing diapers and the spit up and all these kinds of things. That's the part of me that holds somebody. That's the part of me that would kiss that guy on the top. It's like a beautiful part of us that can do those things, that can hold somebody when they're bleeding and hurting. I think about it more like if this were my child, but I don't even think about that. It's just natural. But if I had to put words to it for somebody to understand, well, what would you do if your child was bleeding? Wouldn't you? Yeah, but they're not my child. This person could have a disease that they passed to me from the blood. Wow. Think about that. And if you did catch something in service of other people, that's like Jesus saying, you shall be with me in paradise. If you die today from helping others, you're already there. Now, I'm not saying don't say no, because you should honor your boundaries. If you're very susceptible to certain illnesses and immunity issues, absolutely. Just know inside, I would like to have helped and I felt afraid. Own it. Give it to God. And God will clear the guilt and shame that you might be carrying. Because that's not why the experience was happening, for you to carry away guilt and shame. But also, it isn't happening for you to project wickedness on things in this world. It doesn't help. Don't remove people's ability to feel hope. Let them know everything's okay on some way. You're conveying this energetically. You're conveying this in forms of consciousness. So in Lemuria, we had these, the people that were dedicated to awakening, they were called children of the sun, children of the light, children of God. But you also had opposites, children of the lie, children of darkness. And when we transfer over to Atlantis, the same thing was happening. The children of the law, children of God, children of the one, they called it. And then you had children of light, and then you had children of darkness. Constantly, and what's really sad is the majority is usually children of darkness, the ones that want to perpetuate man's hurt. Children of the light, though, always there, always working it, man, trying to keep things, awakening. But generally, we're outnumbered historically. But I'm not just talking history. You are also outnumbered in your family and in your circumstances at work. It's changing. You can talk much more about things, whether it's psychology, mental healing, emotional healing, inner child work, breath work. You can talk about a lot more things at work than you could 40 years ago. That's true, and I think that's beautiful. But there's still a certain fear and consciousness that goes around that wants to shoot those things down. There's always somebody rolling their eyes when you're making a difference in somebody's life, and it's sad. And it could be someone in your family. This is this perpetuated evil or darkness in the world. It cannot win. First, it's not even real, but it cannot win. This darkness from Lemuria, Atlantis, and after them, Lemurians migrated for survival. They migrated to Tibet, to Nepal, Asian continents, countries, and became the people starting the wisdom of the East. That's Lemuria. It started with Lemurians who had this consciousness and being plugged into God, and they downloaded it to the people of that region, mainly, Asia, by and large. Atlanteans became Central Americans. They became Egyptians. They migrated even to Ireland. But they migrated to a lot of different places. But the Atlanteans brought the technologies where the Lemurians brought the heart and the wisdom of the mother. So the Far East, the Eastern traditions are far more wisdom and calm-based. Taoism, things like that. More like calming wisdom, Buddhism. Before Buddhism, there was already Taoism. And Taoism before that was Lemurianism. But it's all the mother. But when we went to the West, it became drier climates, hotter climates, intense, more masculine. Lemuria was the mother of civilizations. Atlanteans were the father. It's different, more linear, more hard. And those Atlanteans became the ruling continents, the ruling countries, the more aggressive countries. The people that founded this country, America, actually used to call it the New Atlantis. And there's reasons for that, but one of them being, once upon a time, Atlantis ruled the world, had all this power, but misused it. And that's still happening. If you're in charge of this country on any level, or even your own household, it's up to you to make this a place of being our brother's keeper. Take care of people. Well, our country's thriving, we're prosperous, too bad for the rest. Well, there's no such thing. There's no the rest. We're all in this together. How can we help? And it's insane because politics is insane because they can't figure out how to do that. You know why? Because they don't all want to do it. They're not going to all want to do it because they're all divided constantly. So divided we fall. So we have always had the children of light and the children of darkness. The children of darkness are still incarnating and the pain in the butts in this world. In politics, religion, naysayers, trolls online, people that make you doubt that you can change your life. Those are still the voices of evil. Or you could call it the ego. Do you want to be one of those? Do you want to just keep perpetuating that same thing? I would say, please don't. There's another way of looking at all this. But I have to warn you, spiritual bookstores, where are they? Do you know that there's less than 10% of them than there were just 20 years ago? Where did they go? I'm telling you, this is the conspiracy of all conspiracies, the plot of all plots. People are trying to edge God out. Even though more of us can more liberally talk about God at work, it's almost like too much like it was a fad to be able to talk about God. Where's the real? Where do you really believe it? Not just, I had a reading last weekend. You can say that more liberally at work and so on. Thank God. But it's still not owned as a complete lifestyle. When they said, Jesus, where have you been? Did you not know I would be about my Father's business? What he's saying is, this isn't a fad. It's not like Jesus will eventually become wise. He's already there, and he's got to live that. What's he going to be doing? Well, on Mondays, he tends to riot, and join riots. He does this mind, body, and soul. This is what he's all about. A couple times this week, somebody, like some of our team members are calling, how's it going? What are you doing today? 3 times in the last week, my answer was, I'm watching cartoons. Yeah, Moana for the 15th time. And, I'm watching cartoons. And people would think, this is a little weird for a male. Do I care? Do I take polls to see if I'm permitted to watch cartoons? This is how I am. I love love. I love color. I love light. I love message. I like depth. If you were a rock band, Yes, Kansas, bands like that, the critics slammed them all the time. Why? Because they're the naysayers. They're the trolls. They're part of that wickedness. The others are trying to say, I wonder if there's another way. And they're singing about that other way. And they're getting criticized because I'm saying the ego and the evil that the ego runs, has created, does not want you and I to have hope. Take away songs that sing of movies that tell of hope. More people will watch the Super Bowl each year than to watch The Chosen. You see? I know it doesn't sound like it's true. It's true. I'm not saying more TV sets because at the Super Bowl you got 20 people in a room watching it. But I'm saying, why? Like, why? First of all, people are paid off to even make some of these games work. Why would you go? I want to go somewhere to bet on something that's paid off against or whatever. Why would you want to waste your time? I'm not putting down the Super Bowl. I don't care. I've never watched one. I'm not interested in watching one. I'm going for Moana every time. There's also The Little Mermaid that I watched. And Tangled. Right? Rapunzel. Oh, yeah, Because they're all stories of hope. They're all stories of, life and light and lessons learned. Super Bowl, what are you going to get out of that? My team lost, Who cares? And our answer should be, not me, about the stuff of this world. I remember talking to John Anderson, the singer from Yes, and I said, you know what? I got to tell you something. The first time I met with him, I said, I got to tell you something. Ever since I was in high school, I had this dream, this vision of all the bands, the George Harrison, the Yes, and all the bands that had deeper messages should be able to come together and have a concert for God. You get it? Right? His answer, he goes, in his Gaelic Irish, oh, that could never happen, oh, that could never happen. And he wasn't trying to shoot me down, but what he was saying is the world makes it impossible for these kinds of things. And I mean, I'm just a kid. I don't know. I can't go, well, I'm going to start making calls. I'm like 12. No. When I had the vision, I was in high school, but I thought, and sometimes you have those thoughts. Sometimes don't be disheartened. Sometimes they're not meant to materialize 3D. The fact that you had it means it's already here. Yeah. And it didn't always take form. You had the dream to have a child. They're right here already. I swear, they're already here. I want to see God again, and it's right here. Everything is right here, and we can't see it because we have these layers of illusion, veils that keep us from seeing all of our dreams right here and now. On some level, heaven, none of the wicked things have ever happened to us. It's breathe it in that, well, just the possibility, breathe it in that, well, no, you don't mean yes, even the weirdest, cruelest things that have happened to you, there is a dimension where it didn't happen. But you're still there, but it didn't happen. You come in like the inverted triangle, remember. This is God. This little thing here is small in comparison. Don't you call my abuses small? I don't mean it like that. I mean in comparison. You have far more God than you have abuse. But somebody, something, somehow took your mind, flipped you upside down, and made you identify as that thing. Forgetting what you really are, getting you to focus on this. You see? The job of you and I is to take people that a little or a lot that are flipped upside down and focusing on they lack, their health is an issue. Don't look at people and see that they're sick. I'm not saying ignore that they're sick. Choose to see in them there's a light made in God's image. That light could resurrect their body immediately from illness, and it could also escort them to the other side and bring them back without issues. Don't get attached to what form it takes. But be the person that says, I hear you have prosperity issues. My job is not good to go, well, because corporations are all bad and you're a victim. That's not helping. That makes this identification down here inflated even more. Have the wisdom, not always the words, have the wisdom to see people as they really are, divine beings. I've shared the example many times, but when someone's passing away, you don't take their hand and look at them with pity and fear on their behalf. Oh my God, you poor thing. What a terrible and selfish thing. Just because you don't understand death doesn't mean you should project it onto them. And even if you're tempted to, stop yourself because it's selfish. And instead look at them and go, oh my God, you're getting to go. You get to go. I'd love to join you, but it's illegal and immoral for me to, jump in with that. So what I'm going to do is you get to go. And I've said this to people passing away many times. I'll say something like, do me a favor. Put in a good word for me. Now, do I think I need a good word? Not really, but you know what it does? It lets them know they're holding a place of admiration in my mind. You're here, put in a good word. That's not like, you poor thing. Listen, I'll pray and hope you make it through the realms of purgatory. And, I don't know. You've shared some stories with me. You might not make it out of hell anytime soon. Wait, Jesus is talking to me. Nope, it's hopeless. Give people hope. How could people not see that? Give people hope somehow. Say no to gossip. Say, I'm not really interested in that. Because there's a lot of it that people, they're going to troll. They're going to find something wrong. And the critics will go after the spiritual movies oh, this is nonsense. When I saw certain movies, when I saw Stargate, I went, oh, someone actually put on film what actually was happening in Egypt and Atlantis. There were things called Stargates. They actually existed. I'm like, oh, chills, whoa. And, critics, nonsense, science fiction, ludicrous, whatever. I just chose to never believe in that kind of garbage where they're saying no to truth. But I am telling you, it is not an accident or a coincidence that the world keeps trying to edge God out. It's because of the deep fear the ego within all of us has of going home. The ego has convinced us that we're this and we're undeserving. Now, this isn't a contest. We're only this and completely deserving. This isn't a contest. I wonder who's going to win. It's just that we're dragging it out because we enable the voices of doubt. Because they're so loud. Even if ever there was a time where the voice of spirit in us was the majority and the voice of darkness was the minority, it didn't matter because they nag and they yell so loud with such vehement hatred, they make it seem like they must know what they're talking about. It's weird. And then what happened is they flipped us and made us identify with their screams, their issues. Well, then that must be true. And instead, I don't know what to believe. It's a good affirmation. It sounds disempowering. It isn't. I don't know. Wait, I'm confused. I've lost sight here. God, you show me. And God's always going to tell you to side with love and with truth and with hope. There might still be challenges, but God will still get you to side with hope. Hope in other people that are struggling, but you'll have hope. Hope meaning, true hope meaning that you know they can pull this off. You see? Hold on to that vision of people as they really are, not what they seem to be. Don't even buy into the concepts where people are seemingly lost souls, seemingly hopeless. Their situation, they're so sick, there's no way they can heal. I'm not attached to it looking like you doing somersaults out of your deathbed. All I know is there's a part of you that's totally okay. I didn't mean, and I need to see it look a certain way. I just mean, no matter what I think I see, God, show me what's really happening here. And it'll take the form usually of a sense of peace. It doesn't always take the form of, Lazarus, come forth, and grandma gets out of her deathbed. And even if she does, she's going to still die of something. Your job is to not see death on their face. And it's the same when people say, nobody loves me. I've only had 3 relationships and they all betrayed me. They all cheated on me. They all took all the money and left. And feel that. I'm sorry. I am sorry that happened. I don't say, oh, it's an illusion. I'm sorry, and I'm there with you. But part of me is already saying to their soul, and let's go somewhere else. Let's go to the life that's waiting for you, the real life. I'm sorry that they did that now. And it might take only the form of a thought, but it could take the form of words. I don't know, because we ask the Holy Spirit. We learn to ask the Mother. Guide me in what you'd have me say and do. But you know you're going in the right direction when you give a person a sense of hope. I've seen people get very upset, and I have this natural thing. I'll say, it's no problem. Yes, it is. They get mad, offended. Like you're invalidating their, I want to have a problem. And I have to be compassionate and bridge more. Even though I know it's not a problem, I have to be careful to join them where they're at for a moment. You follow? I don't say, oh, you don't get it. I'm the wise one. If I'm going to be so wise, any of us, you have to be able to meet people where they're at. Don't jump into where they're at. Meet them where they're at and offer some kind of guidance to a healthier direction, a better direction. So all these continents, since the beginning of time, darkness has been fighting light, and almost always they were the majority. Almost always they ruled the world. Cataclysm demolished the Atlanteans because they were so disgustingly aggressive with everybody else. Power hungry. It was a very dark. There were times when it was beautiful, but there were times when complacency sets in. Those that were the children of light too often acquiesced to the darkness that was trying to rule the country, the Atlantean continent, the civilization. And they harmed other people, and everybody went along. But there were always children of light. We call them today more like light workers. But even more specifically, that's why we have this conference next weekend, we call them the daughters of heaven. And the daughters of heaven have always been there. So the light workers, larger number. But for every 100 light workers, there were a couple daughters of heaven. Always there. The daughters of heaven went to the crucifixion where the apostles ran and hid, except John, but he's way cool. But the apostles ran for their lives. The women who aren't considered high people of high esteem, of that time, they didn't care. They were courageous enough to go to the crucifixion. First of all, to even see such a thing. And they put it aside. They put aside the gore because they followed what they knew they were hearing. That's the daughters of heaven. The ones that are light workers, committed not just to bringing people home, but to being the presence of the Mother, the Holy Spirit, God, in everyday experiences. It's them that went to anoint the body. It's a woman who walks in and anoints Jesus' feet with priests there, Sanhedrin members. These are very intense people. They judge everything. And a woman that was considered a prostitute by some could go in there, anoint his feet. And they're like, the idea that a woman entered the room, the chamber of males was unheard of. She's like, I didn't ask your opinion. That's so courageous. They're like, how could she? And Jesus is like, leave her alone. And when Peter and the apostles had doubts about her, the other, Magdalene, his words were, leave her alone. I love that. Because he was saying, don't you go into that evil, dark, children of darkness mode and start picking on a child of light. Martha complaining about Mary. Have her help me clean up. This is our duty. And Jesus says, well, you're right. That's your 3D duty. But she's hearing something of a higher dimension. Something is stirring this woman, Mary. Something's stirring her, and she feels compelled to sit here and soak up every word. So therefore, he says to Martha, she's doing the right thing. Why aren't we all doing that? Why aren't we all being compelled and do it? Watch the movies that are spiritual. Talk about it with people. Oh, those movies, those are... Okay, don't bring it up again. You don't have to fight with them over it, but don't bring it up. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Just know and keep bringing more people hope. When they say, I wish I could know more about despair and what that does to people. I feel it all the time. Go watch What Dreams May Come. Watch movies like that show you how it's valid to feel so dark that you fall into a world where you can't come to life anymore. But also show them how it is that if you're a light worker, you bring light to people and you can resurrect them. You can give them hope. Get in touch with that spiritual warrior kind of thing, where you fight against all odds. It doesn't have to be 3D, but where you fight against all. Go watch The 13th Warrior. It's a great movie that shows you a handful of people just step up to fight this horde of evil that was destroying people. Well, we're outnumbered. There's a great scene where Antonio Banderas is this guy. He's just a monk, he's a scribe. And all of a sudden he's with these warriors. And they're all waiting. They're all laying back, trying to sleep for the night because they know this attack is coming. And they're all laying there. And they're like, when it happens, go to town, man. Step up. I'm not a warrior. I don't know how to use a sword. And the other Viking guy next to him goes, you soon will be. You know what that means to me? Do what needs done in the moment. But I'm not one. Become one. Your children don't have a father and they're girls, be a mother to those girls. What if they're boys? Be a father to those boys. But I'm a woman. See, step up to what's needed. When they said Magdalene was not a male, she shouldn't be allowed to sit in the room when Jesus is teaching, they said that to Jesus. He said, then let's make her a man. What do you think he was talking about? Sex change operations? I hope you can't take it that literally. What did he mean then? Just see it in her. See her worthiness. If you think only men are worthy, see her worthiness. How simple. Mental surgery, man. Mental adjustments. Give people hope that don't seem to have it. Evoke the strength of a man in a woman that doesn't think she has it. And the sensitivity level of a woman in a man. Because it's all illusions that people think they're only this, they're only that. There's no bouncing out from, my family inheritance and my DNA and all these words. And they're all just stories describing limiting beliefs. But I'm a child of God. I'm made in God's image. I can do anything. You can be a voice of sanity. You can be the critic who does say that this stuff has hope. I remember we had I'm going to close now, but I remember helping to edit a magazine and so forth, and in a region, so it was a regional kind of a holistic magazine. And one of the things I contributed, I said, I'm going to start doing movie reviews. I don't even know how to type. I have no background academically, but you know what I have? I have wisdom. I have a connection. And I heard in my mind, the movies that are ridiculed, start doing reviews to tell people there's great movies that have these themes in them. So before that existed, and then about 10 years later, some other people started doing that professionally and doing, spiritual movies. And a gentleman, Stephen Simon, he made that a part of his life purpose years later. And I met with him. I said, oh my God, it's so cool that somebody else finally did that and did it in a big way. I just did it in this little article in each magazine. And Stephen Simon, he produced movies. Instead of being one of the wicked people that does the enabling of hurtfulness in this world, in Hollywood, and the usury that goes on and the abuse, Simon, he made it his purpose to make movies that have spiritual content. You can go to his website. Say hello for me. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we've been in touch, but say hello for me. But tell him that I mentioned, make him feel valued. You see? He lost his beloved and she still speaks to him, and he's like, wow. And he even made that part of his mission to let people know. When you think you lost a loved one, they're right there, because he had the experience full on, so he could now tell people about it. Be the voice of hope. It's all about love. It's all about light. And Lemuria. Yeah. Yeah. So one of you asked, about tolerance. Absolutely. Tolerance isn't something you should have to get ready for. The more loving you are, the more patient and tolerant. But the tolerance isn't you're tolerating people. There's a deeper meaning for it. A deeper meaning to that word tolerance. I don't have to think I need to tolerate somebody. That means I'm putting up with them. And I already don't like them, but I'm going to put up with them. Tolerance to me means I need to erase something and then see them differently. Then it becomes very easy and organic, right? Please take a few centering breaths. Set aside the stuff of the world. As we always say, just set aside the stuff of the world. It's always got our attention. Well, why not just take a break from it? Let's try something else. Even for just a few minutes. So much to think about, so much to worry about. What if in every stroke of the strings and notes, there's an exhaling away of the heaviness, doubts, fears, guilt, pain, the world, suffering, politics. Just let these things go. Imagine the notes are the fingertips of the Divine Mother, doing an aura brush down over your head and shoulders and just drawing away that energetic toxicity. Stroking your muscles in your neck, your shoulders, your mind. See it, think it, believe it. Allow yourself to believe it's possible. She draws it away. She draws it away. A couple of breaths, allowing yourself to feel buoyant. And if you need more drawing away of heaviness, let her do that. But then shift to buoyant. I feel lighter. The peace of God. And then shift the notes from drawing away stuff to her hands above our head, raining little sparkles of light down into our being. Sprinkling just fairy dust that protects us, shines brightly, helps us feel lighter, different. Not drawing away the heavy, it's now adding the lightness. What was it like to walk in Eden? What was it like to walk in the lush, ethereal world of love, of Lemuria? Every creature at peace. No circle of life, cycle of life, no animal killing another to survive. Everything just being alive, thriving. Heavenly Father, Mother, God, I'm so sorry for the choices we made to forget this part of our life and being. I'm so sorry for our rebelliousness to try to manufacture a world of limitation and hurtfulness. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for the Christ in all of my brothers and sisters throughout all time and in all dimensions. Help us to forgive ourselves and each other for these previous decisions and manifestations. I am affirming that we're joining two together, and then everyone follows that two that multiplies until it includes everyone. and we're walking together in the light of God. We so deeply appreciate the role of you, our elder brother, Jesus, the Christ. Thank you for walking this and awakening this in every one of us. We are holy children of God in whom God is well pleased. Help us to walk in this every day and to give us the courage to remind ourselves to do this walk and to awaken this walk in all of our brothers and sisters. And so it is. Thank you. Nice. We'll do our closing prayer in a moment. Just stretch out a little bit, get back into the room. Feel into what you're feeling from the music, the talk today, the meditation. Can anyone share what you're feeling or what you heard or felt that might make a difference in your life? Yes? Incredible lightness of being. Absolutely nice. Anyone else? Compassion. Sweet. Anyone else? Yes? Helping people through things like death and dying. Yeah. Anyone else? It's not about, yes?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that we talked a lot about hope.
Hope.
And I received a download a couple months ago with the essence of what does the word hope mean? The acronym for hope that came through is healing our perspective every day.
Nice.
That's what God
Acronym of hope, healing our perspective every day. Nice. Nice channeling there. Yes.
Ego was exiting God out.
Yeah, ego. Edging God out, exiting God out, eliminating, right? Meet people where they're at, right? Just the word hope. I mean, if you are a god or goddess, ancient like Greek terminology and Norse terminology, I'm a god or goddess, to be the god of hope, that's so cool. That means every time you walk in a room, you're lighting a light where there was just darkness. One day, people won't even need hope because they'll have total experience. But while on earth, to be the God and Goddess of hope, the best way you can. Please, never to the point of overextending and rescuer and, codependence and burning yourself out. I've said many times, as brilliant as Edgar Cayce was, he did die of exhaustion. And when Helen, who wrote A Course in Miracles, talked about Edgar Cayce to Jesus, there's a conversation you don't hear every day. Jesus said, I love the work Cayce did, but I never told him to burn himself out. And the way he said it was, Cayce always asked to be of service. How can he be helpful? I'm like, yes, love Cayce, he's great. And Jesus adds, but he never asked when to stop. And that's important for us all to remember. Help your children, and then sometimes not. For me, the wording was to my kids, I'll help you always with anything healthy. And they're like, oh, you had to throw in that healthy thing. Yes, anything healthy. You want anything that enables unhealthiness? I'm not interested. And it made a big difference. One thing as a parent, I'm always there. I'll do anything you need that is related to healthiness. I'm their dad. I have to add the bummer part to it, because I enjoy that, No. So it's beautiful. Say yes where and when you can, when it's healthy, when it's the greater good. And this world, man, that they make Super Bowls more important. You think this would be easy. Global Center for Christ Consciousness. As soon as you hear that, I'm there. Global Center for Christ Consciousness. It seems like a no-brainer. Yes, I want to be a place that just emanates and serves and magnifies Christ consciousness, what Yogananda called the highest level of consciousness that you can have, ever. Yeah, let's do that. But there are people that no, I want to go to the Church of the Bloody Jesus, And others are like, I just want to hang out with my friends and tailgate and get stoned and call it walking with the mother. Come on. Any reason to deviate, and just watch and laugh at it a bit, at yourself and others. Just don't take it too serious. Don't hate them for doing their parties and whatever they do. Just understand, one day, all of that's going to be gone. As soon as they die, they're going to sit and go, I put far more hours into getting stoned or watching Super Bowls than I did in talking to God. And that's a rude awakening you'll have. But it doesn't matter, because God's going to go, I don't take this stuff seriously. Personally, you're going to just go back 1,500 more times until you get it right. That's how objective God is about it. Oh, knock yourself out. By all means, there'll be new things for you to get stoned on when you go back next time. New, not, oh, this is novel, this is new. Keep going. But the day will come where you'll say, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm back to devotion to God. All right? Thank you. We're going to do our collection and our closing prayer. Please just be as generous as you can be. Your donations are going into the purple bags. Any extra donations you can share for people of lesser means that we help, or for special projects, they go in the baskets. It could be loose change, or it could be winning lottery tickets. Whatever you can share, we appreciate it deeply. We really, really do. And oh man, we do a lot to bring abundance and help to people out there and around the world, okay? So let's hold our love offering to our heart. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is. Beautiful. Please stand for our closing prayer. Yes. Yep. And in the bookstore, we've now received a big shipment of the books on Edgar Cayce. So we're going to start carrying them more, but we finally found a way to get some of them that were out of print. The Edgar Cayce primer and some the best of. But even if you can't do the Daughters of Heaven, find some, like White Eagle. A few books on Cayce, not all of them. Some of them are not as cool and direct, but Cayce, White Eagle, essential teachings of like Yogananda. Not the autobiography of, that's different. I'm talking about his teachings, not his history, his teachings. The Cayce material, and one that's a great start, Jesus Calling. Just a daily inspirational read. See, I could tell you about A Course in Miracles, but that's not a daily, easy, one paragraph. Thanks, Jesus. It's more like, oh my God. I'm changing my whole, you're getting all rewired and, take it easy. Go to a spa called Jesus Calling instead of a full-on revelation. Okay? How are you feeling? Beautiful. Yes, yes. Breathe that in. Breathe in all of the love, the teaching, everything that we had, the meditation, the music. I can still hear those notes. And just take that with you today. And it doesn't matter if you can't afford to give financially to people, smile. And if you're toothless, grin. Don't say there's a limit. You have something to give hope. Sometimes it's a hand on someone's back, and it conveys hope. Let's commit to that this week and the rest of our lives. I'm a being of hope. What religion are you? Hopefulness. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, it's cool, huh? You feel that download. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. God bless. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.